Good morning, Africa and its mighty diaspora. This is the X-Man coming at you live, 10 toes down, black shades on, hoodie pulled tight, and that white X across my chest. I'm not here to play polite. I'm here to keep it 100. And today, we got fire in the hole. Breaking news. The CIA, yes, that CIA dropped a report years back and it slipped under the radar like a thief in the night. But guess what? The X-Man found it. And now I'm bringing it straight to you, raw and unfiltered. You see, the West knows something Africa doesn't fully grasp yet, and it's this. If Africa unites and pools its resources, it won't take 100 years, not even 20. It will take just 15 years to become a global superpower. Let that sink in. 15 years. That ain't no prophecy. That's documented by the CIA, declassified in 2012. Their own analysts said if Africa was to consolidate its minerals, its agriculture, its energy, its people, and its political will, it would be unstoppable. But here's the $5 million question. What's holding Africa back? The answer is as old as colonialism and twice as dirty. Puppet presidents. These so-called leaders scattered across the continent, they're not leaders. They're gatekeepers for the West. They sit in presidential palaces, sipping champagne, eating caviar, and laughing with foreign diplomats while their people walk barefoot, hungry, and voiceless. Let's name names because the X-Man don't do filters. Paul Biya, president of Cameroon. This man is 92 years old and still clinging to power like it's oxygen. That's not a president. That's a walking ancestor being propped up like a scarecrow while the French siphon Cameroon's riches. Alassane Ouattara, the Ivorian sellout, the man who handed over Ivory Coast to Western interests like it was a housewarming gift. The U.S. just announced a drone base in his backyard, right near Burkina Faso and Mali. You know why? Because they're panicking, because AES is rising, because Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta, and Abdourahmane Tiani are not playing house. They're building a fortress. Now, let me tell you what that CIA report didn't predict. It didn't predict Captain Ibrahim Traoré. It didn't predict a new wave of African leaders who would look the West in the face and say, get out, we're done. These young lions, they're what the CIA fears the most because they weren't groomed in Paris, they weren't trained in Washington, they were raised in struggle, educated in truth, and chosen by destiny. But let's go deeper. Africa has over 30% of the world's mineral reserves, 60% of the world's arable land, the youngest and fastest growing population on Earth, gold, uranium, lithium, cobalt, diamonds, oil, and solar energy potential that could power the entire globe. Yet it's the poorest continent by design, not by nature. Because when you have leaders who think with the colonizer's brain and serve the colonizer's interests, the people stay chained, even when the chains are invisible. That's what the West knows. That's why they fight so hard to keep Africa divided. The Berlin Conference of 1884 never ended. It just put on a suit and tie and started handing out foreign aid. Every time an African nation starts to rise, here comes a coup financed by outside money, or a new president trained at Harvard who signs oil contracts with France while his people cook with wood fires and walk 5 miles for water. But here's the plot twist. The ancestors have prayed these times into existence. This Pan-African movement is not political, it's spiritual, it's ancestral, it's revolutionary, and it's coming like a flood. You can't stop it. You can only choose which side you're on, homeland or death. There is no in between. And if you're not with us, you're against us. Now listen up. If you're hearing this message and it hits your chest like a drum, if you feel that fire waking up in your bones, then don't just sit there. This is your call to arms. Smash that like button. subscribe, and share this video like your people's future depends on it, because it does. This is how you participate in the revolution. Africa needs all hands on deck, from the streets of Accra to the corners of Chicago, from the favelas of Brazil to the beaches of Kingston. We are one people, one destiny. Let's act like it. Back to it. Let's ask the most dangerous question. What would a united Africa look like in 15 years? Picture this: one African central bank backed by gold, a single African currency harder than the dollar, unshackled from the euro, a military alliance stronger than NATO, defending African interests from Cape Town to Cairo, an education system that teaches truth, not colonial lies, infrastructure projects connecting rail lines, highways, and internet across the continent, energy independence powered by the Sahel sun and the Congo's rivers, an African Silicon Valley creating apps, drones, satellites made in Africa for Africa. Now ask yourself again, why hasn't it happened yet? Because the West knows that once Africa wakes up, the global order flips overnight. France becomes irrelevant. The dollar gets humbled. The IMF becomes a ghost. And the UN starts begging Africa for votes instead of ignoring her voice. They know it. The question is, do we? That's why they love the Paul Biyas. That's why they protect Alassane Ouattara. That's why they fear Ibrahim Traoré. And that's why they fight to the death to keep Africa sleeping. But let me tell you something. Africa is no longer sleeping. It's stirring. It's roaring. And it's only a matter of time before every African president must choose: serve your people or step aside. That's the new order. That's the new energy. And it's not coming from New York or London. It's coming from Ouagadougou, from Bamako, from Niamey. It's coming from the streets, from the youth, from the people who have nothing left to lose but their chains. You can hear it in the music. You can see it in the flags. You can feel it in the wind. The Pan-African fire has returned, and this time it's not going out. So to every African youth watching this, you are the revolution. You are the one the world has been waiting for. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait for a savior. Be the force that breaks the chains. And to every puppet president still playing both sides, your time is up. You will not stop this wave. You will not dim this light. You will not silence this truth, because it was written, it was prophesied, and now it is happening. Africa will rise, united, empowered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. No sellouts, no filters, no fears. This is the X-Man signing off.